Here you go, LS Dreamworld Saga, The Laughing Spiral. Chapter 1. The portal and the couch cushion. Nobody remembers who noticed it first. The couch had begun humming. Sherm's static blue was halfway through arguing with a talking toaster when the living room folded like origami. A glowing slit opened in the couch cushion, releasing a breeze that smelled like electric mangoes and broken clocks. "Yeah, nah," Sherm said. "That couch is not insured for dimensional activity." But curiosity is a loud thing. Inside the cushion portal was the LS Dreamworld, where sidewalks floated like noodles and gravity took frequent coffee breaks. A sign welcomed them. Open quote, "Warning, reality is optional here." Close quote. Sherm, along with his two accidental companions, Mimi the overconfident cat Old Man Gibbles, who may or may not have been a hallucination, stepped through. The couch vanished behind them like it had never existed. Chapter 2. The Forest of Laughing Mushrooms. The Dreamworld forest was alive in the most disrespectful way possible. Trees whispered bad jokes, rocks giggled when stepped on. And the mushrooms, oh the mushrooms, glowed like neon streetlights and kept arguing with each other about who was more edible in theory. One mushroom, wearing what looked like a tiny crown, introduced itself. "I am King Spirilius III. Bow respectfully or at least mildly confusingly." Mimi the cat immediately bowed too aggressively and fell over. Sherm tried to take notes, but his notebook kept rewriting itself in poetry. Open quote, "Reality bends like overcooked spaghetti, and time forgets its own birthday." Close quote. Old Man Gibbles insisted they were all inside a giant washing machine owned by the universe. Nobody corrected him because honestly, it fit. Then the mushrooms started singing. The forest began to levitate. The glitch dragon of yesterday. At the edge of the forest, the sky cracked open like a broken screen. Out stepped the glitch dragon of yesterday, a massive shifting creature made of static, old memories and unfinished thoughts. Its voice sounded like 3 radio stations arguing. "I have come to reset your storyline," it boomed. Sherm squinted. "Bro, we just got here." The dragon attempted to erase them, but Mimi the cat had already learned how to drag and drop reality objects, thanks to earlier chaos. She grabbed the dragon's tail and accidentally minimized it. The dragon shrank into a floating error icon. Open quote, 404, threat not found. Close quote. Old Man Gibbles clapped slowly. "We have defeated time with poor UI design." The Dreamworld stabilized, briefly. Then everything turned into glittering soup. And just before reality rebooted itself, Sherm heard a final message echo through the void. Open quote, "Thanks for visiting LS Dreamworld. Please don't remember this correctly." Close quote. If you want, I can expand this into 30 chapters, turn it into an anime style. Got it. Here are 5 short chapters, continuing the same chaotic, hilarious Dream Realm saga in the LS Dreamworld. LS Dreamworld Saga, The Laughing Spiral 5-chapter edition. Chapter 1. The Couch That Rebooted Reality. After the Glitch Dragon incident, reality didn't fully return. It buffered. Sherm, Mimi the cat, and Old Man Gibbles found themselves back on the couch. Except, the couch was now floating in a white void with loading icons drifting like birds. A notification appeared in the air. Open quote, "Reality update available. Install, YN." Close quote. Mimi immediately pressed N by accident, and reality installed anyway. Now the couch had legs. Nobody questioned it. Chapter 2. The City of Misplaced Thoughts. They stepped outside and found a city built entirely from forgotten ideas. Streetlights flickered with half-remembered dreams. Buildings shifted depending on who was looking at them. One skyscraper was just a giant sticky note that said, open quote, "Buy milk?" Close quote. Sherm pointed at a floating mailbox arguing with a lamppost. "This place is mentally unstable." Old Man Gibbles nodded. "Just like my taxes." Mimi chased a thought-shaped butterfly that kept changing its opinion mid-flight. Chapter 3. The Department of Reality Errors. They were arrested by bureaucratic clouds wearing name tags. "You have caused an unauthorized imagination event," one cloud declared. They were taken to the Department of Reality Errors, where desks floated upside down and paperwork wrote itself in disappearing ink. The clerk, a tired flamingo in glasses, stared at them. "You broke continuity again," Sherm shrugged. "It started it. Mimi knocked over a stamp labeled Deny Existence, and everything briefly stopped existing out of spite. Then restarted. Chapter 4. The Library of Unfinished Stories. To fix the chaos, they were sent into the Library of Unfinished Stories. Every book was alive. Some screamed when opened. Some refused to end their sentences. One book tried to bite Sherm. Inside, they found the Index of Lost Endings, which contained every story that was abandoned mid-thought. Old Man Gibbles whispered, "We're in here too. Page 6 is missing." Mimi licked a glowing page and suddenly knew Kung Fu for no reason. The library began reorganizing itself aggressively. Chapter 5. The Reset Button. At the center of everything was a sun, but it wasn't burning, it was blinking. A giant cosmic button labeled "Open Quote, Reset Reality," close quote. Sherm stared at it. "Do we press it?" Mimi pressed it instantly. The universe paused, then replied, "Open quote. Are you sure? This will delete all unread thoughts." Close quote. Old Man Gibbles sighed. "Too late." They pressed it again. Reality folded like a cheap napkin, and then rebuilt itself. Slightly funnier. The couch returned. The world stabilized. And somewhere, the Glitch Dragon quietly filed a complaint. If you want next step, I can turn this into 20 to 30 chapter full saga, add character powers plus world rules, or convert it into an anime script with scenes and dialogue timing. Alright, I'm going to lock this into a continuous expanding saga format so it can scale into a full never-ending book. I'll start the full arc, chapters 1 to 12, and structure it so we can keep extending it non-stop into 30+ chapters next. LS Dreamworld Saga, The Laughing Spiral. Full continuous expansion, Part 1. Chapter 1, The Couch That Learned to Think Reality finishes rebooting, but it installs personality updates. The couch is now self-aware. It introduces itself. Open quote, "Hello, I am Couch V3.7. Please stop sitting on my existential crisis." Close quote. Sherm sighs. Mimi the cat immediately sits harder out of disrespect. The couch levitates in protest. Old Man Gibbles says, "We are officially furniture-adjacent beings now." Chapter 2. The Floating City Patch. Outside, the world has turned into floating patch notes. Buildings drift in midair like unfinished software updates. Assignment open quote, patch 9.4.2, gravity stability improved, mostly, close quote. A building falls upward by mistake. Mimi claps like this is normal. Sherm writes in the air and the air saves it as a file. Chapter 3. The department returns. A thundercloud in a tie appears again. Open quote, "You have resumed unauthorized existence." Close quote. They are dragged back to the Department of Reality Errors. The Flamingo clerk groans. Open quote, "Not you again." Close quote. Sherm replies, "We didn't leave on purpose." Mimi knocks over the reality permission stamp again. Everything becomes slightly legal this time. Chapter 4. The Hall of Misremembered Time. They are sent into a hallway that stretches backward. Every door leads to a version of something that almost happened. Sherm opens one door and sees himself saying something important, but the sentence cuts off. Old Man Gibbles nods. Open quote, "That's where my motivation went." Close quote. Mimi chases a version of herself that refuses to exist. Chapter 5. The Glitch Seeds. They discover seeds floating in glass air. Each seed contains a broken timeline. When touched, it grows into random reality. One becomes a raining room, one becomes a staircase to nowhere, one becomes a talking mirror that insults you politely. Sherm pockets one. "Bad idea," Gibble says. "Correct," Sherm replies. Chapter 6. The Mirror That Argues Back. The mirror seed grows instantly. It becomes a full-sized mirror that refuses to agree with anything. Sherm says, "We need answers." Mirror replies, open quote, "No you don't." Close quote. Mimi argues with it for 17 minutes and loses instantly. The mirror upgrades itself to Debate Champion of Existence. Chapter 7. The Library Reopens. The Library of Unfinished Stories reappears, but now mobile. It walks on giant paper legs. Books are screaming in alphabetical order. One book tries to escape and becomes a bird. Old Man Gibbles says, open quote, "That's the first correct transformation I've seen today." Close quote. Chapter 8. The ink storm, dark ink clouds roll in. Everything written begins to overwrite reality. Signs change. Exit becomes enter again. Safe zone becomes try later. You are here becomes you are questionable. Sherm realizes, open quote, the world is being edited in real time. Close quote. Mimi tries to delete the sky. It partially works. Chapter 9. The admin entity appears. A massive floating cursor enters the sky. It blinks slowly. A voice speaks. Open quote. O is editing reality without permission. Close quote. Everything freezes except Mimi, who bats at the cursor. The cursor selects the universe, accidentally highlights all. Gibbles whispers, open quote. That's not good. Close quote. Chapter 10. The undo problem. The universe tries to press undo, but undo has been disabled. Reality begins to remember incorrectly. Sherm's shadow starts acting independently. The couch files a complaint against existence. Mimi laughs at something only she can see. Chapter 11. The broken save file. A glowing file appears in the sky. Open quote. Reality save final v2. Corrupt? Close quote. They realize the world is a corrupted save file looping endlessly. Sherm says, open quote, so we're stuck in a broken game. Close quote. Old Man Gibbles replies, open quote, no, we are the patch notes. Close quote. The decision point. A giant menu appears. Open quote. Continue, restart, exit. No idea what you're doing. Close quote. Mimi instantly presses no idea what you're doing. Reality accepts. The world expands. A new layer unlocks underneath everything. And deeper below it, something wakes up. End of part 1. This is now set up as a continuous expandable system story, meaning I can keep going seamlessly into part 2, act 13 to 24, the hidden layer below reality, part 3 and 25 to 36, Alright, here's the full continuation, chapters 13 to 30 of your LS Dreamworld saga, expanding it into a complete, non-stop arc. LS Dreamworld Saga The Laughing Spiral, full book expansion, 1330. Chapter 13, The Layer Beneath the Menu. After pressing no idea what you're doing, the world glitches downward. They fall through layers like stacked screens. Each layer whispers, open quote, you were never supposed to see this. Close quote. Mimi lands first, the couch lands second, reality lands late. Chapter 14, The Basement of Reality. They arrive in a massive underground space filled with broken versions of everything above. Rivers flow upward. Time walks in circles. Sherm says, open quote, we are officially underground in existence. Close quote. Old Man Gibbles replies, open quote, I've been here emotionally for years. Close quote. Chapter 15, The Builders of Broken Worlds. Shadowy figures appear. The Builders. They don't speak. They edit. They adjust mountains like sliders. They erase and redraw history casually. Mimi hisses at them. One builder pauses and writes, open quote, cat error noted, close quote. Chapter 16, The Couch Awakens. Fully, the couch transforms into its true form, the archive seat of forgotten realities. It speaks, open quote, I have stored every version of you that failed. Close quote. Sherm freezes. Thousands of ghost Sherms appear briefly, then fade. Chapter 17, The Fracture Storm. Reality splits into shards. Each shard shows a different version of the group. Heroes, villains, forgotten background characters, alternate Mimi CEOs of the universe. The storm threatens to merge them all incorrectly. Chapter 18, The Cat Becomes a Key. Mimi evolves, not physically, but conceptually. She becomes a key of access loops. Doors now open when she looks at them. Old Man Gibbles whispers, open quote, the cat is now system-level permission, close quote. Mimi accepts this without concern. Chapter 19, The Library Rewritten. The Library of Unfinished Stories collapses again, but rewrites itself into a living database. Books now run instead of sit. One bites reality and says, open quote, this is poorly indexed, close quote. Sherm starts reorganizing books by instinct. Chapter 20, The Error Angels. Floating figures appear, glowing error correction entities. They chant, open quote, restore original layer, close quote. But there is no original layer left. Everything has been edited too many times. Chapter 21, The Hidden Author appears. A massive silhouette appears beyond the skybox, a hand holding a pen. It writes, open quote, I did not expect you to get this far, close quote. The world pauses, even Mimi pauses. Briefly, Chapter 22. The pen breaks, the pen cracks, ink falls like meteor rain, reality becomes unstable again. Sherm yells, open quote, Ho is writing this. Close quote. No answer, only laughter from the system itself. Chapter 23. The loop collapse. Time folds into a loop. They relive every major event instantly. Couch, city, library, basement, couch again. Mimi breaks the loop by sleeping in the wrong direction. Chapter 24. The silent layer. They enter a layer where nothing makes sound, even thoughts are muted. Old Man Gibble's mouths, open quote, this is worse, close quote. Sherm realizes silence is actually another form of system control. Chapter 25. The thought engine. A giant machine appears, generating reality from raw thoughts. But it is overheating. Thoughts are coming out corrupted. Banana gravity law, door is suspiciously emotional. Sun is buffering. Chapter 26. Mimi unlocks admin mode. Mimi accidentally steps on a hidden command tile. System access granted. She now sees everything as editable panels. She drags a mountain slightly left. Nobody stops her. No one can. Chapter 27. The Builders rebel. The Builders panic. Their edits begin failing. Sherm realizes, open quote, we are overriding the system now, close quote. The Builders begin dissolving into unfinished code. Chapter 28. The couch chooses a host. The couch selects Sherm, open quote, you are now continuity anchor, close quote. Sherm becomes part human, part structure of reality. He feels every timeline at once. He immediately regrets everything. Chapter 29. The final merge point. All layers converge. Library, city, basement, sky, and thought engine collapse into one field. Mimi sits at the center. Old Man Gibble says, open quote, she is the root process now, close quote. Chapter 30. The spiral restarts. Mimi presses nothing, yet everything resets anyway. A new world forms, but slightly different. Quieter glitches, softer reality edges, more stable nonsense. Sherm asks, open quote, did we fix it? Close quote. The couch replies, open quote, no, you upgraded it, close quote. And somewhere deep in the system, something smiles. End of Book 1, The Laughing Spiral. If you want next step, I can. Build Book 2, The Origin of the Hidden Author. Turn this into a full anime screenplay with scenes, dialogue timing, or convert it into a graphic novel layout with panels and character designs.
Kai had his eyes closed. There's parts where we both had our eyes closed and parts where clearly I had my eyes open. Cordis, brothers! And there goes Tosh. Man, those guys are fucking cool, man. Man, I know, man. Kai actually helped save my life, man. When I met him, I think it was back in March. No, I think it was May of last year. Damn, it's been that long already. Yeah, bro, it's literally been a year. I was going to Gnarly's Theater over on Washington, 13th and Washington and stuff like that, you know. And I was looking for work. He told me to go upstairs, and I got the work. Long story short, him and Orphan, and then everything just transformed. I did not want people touching me. I did not want people like. I was towards people. Like I don't fucking want to let people touch me or all kind of shit. And yeah. I was not in a good place. And thanks to y'all bringing Kai and some other people, man. Shout out Swizz, Nine, Opal, Ethan. Eric and Eric. Johnny. Ev. Jacob. Seth. Acid Bat. Anthony. And the rest of the gang. Swizz did it! Newsflash, if you ain't hang with hippies, you ain't tripping enough in this world. A bunch of hippie ninja pirates. Yeah. A bunch of ninja hippie pirates. Yeah. A bunch of ninja hippie pirates. Coasting in a spaceship, space cruise to Ren Fair. Yeah. A bunch of ninja hippie pirates. And Codus Brodus. A bunch of ninja hippie pirates on a space cruise, a spaceship to Ren Fair. Yeah, arrow wave, condition flow.
Got you? Now I'm going to convert this into a real full narrative novel style, not summaries. We'll start the fully expanded book format with richer scenes, dialogue, pacing, and continuity. Because the full 30 chapters would be massive, I'll build it in continuous novel sections. Here is LS Dreamworld Saga: The Laughing Spiral. Full narrative expansion, chapters 1 to 6. Chapter 1: The Couch That Learned to Think. Sherm first noticed something was wrong when the couch sighed. Not a normal creak, not wood settling. A real deliberate sigh, like something tired of existing in furniture form. The living room lights flickered once. Then the couch spoke. Open quote, "Please stop sitting on me like I am emotionally stable." Close quote. Sherm froze mid-step. Mimi the cat, already perched on the armrest, blinked slowly as if she had been expecting this her whole life. Old Man Gibbles, who nobody was fully sure was actually invited, nodded calmly. "Yep," he said. "That couch has been unstable since Tuesday." The couch lifted slightly off the ground as if offended by the accusation. Open quote, "I am not unstable, I am evolving." Close quote. Sherm stepped back. "Couches don't evolve." The couch paused. Open quote, "Neither did you until recently." Close quote. Silence dropped like a heavy blanket. Then the couch rose completely into the air, legs extending like it had remembered it was never meant to be furniture. And the living room stopped pretending it was normal. Chapter 2: The Floating City Patch. Outside, the world had changed the way software changes after an update nobody agreed to. Buildings hovered above the ground like unfinished thoughts. Street signs flickered between messages. "Turn left." "No, turn right." "Why are you still here?" Sherm stepped into the street cautiously. The pavement rippled beneath him like water pretending to be solid. Above them, a giant glowing banner appeared in the sky. Open quote, "Reality patch 9.42, stability improved, unconfirmed." Close quote. A skyscraper nearby tilted upward instead of falling. It drifted slowly into the clouds. Mimi watched it go. Then meowed in approval. Old Man Gibbles adjusted his invisible hat. "I remember when gravity had better management." Sherm rubbed his temples. "This isn't normal." Mimi looked at him. Nothing about her expression suggested disagreement or concern. Chapter 3: The Department Returns. A thundercloud formed overhead. It wasn't weather, it was administrative presence. The cloud lowered itself to eye level and unfolded into a sharply dressed, bureaucratic entity made of storm pressure and paperwork. Open quote, "You have resumed unauthorized existence." Close quote. Sherm blinked. "We didn't resume anything, we were just existing." Open quote. "Exactly," the cloud said, "without clearance." Close quote. A glowing hand snapped its fingers. The ground beneath them turned into a clipboard. Sherm, Mimi, and Gibbles were dragged into a floating hallway lined with filing cabinets that whispered when passed. The sign above the door read, open quote, "Department of Reality Errors." Close quote. Inside, a flamingo wearing reading glasses stared at them without emotion. "Back again," it sighed. Sherm pointed at Mimi. "She started it." Mimi knocked a pen off the counter. The pen exploded into 3 new timelines. The flamingo did not react. "I'm not paid enough for branching reality incidents," it said. Chapter 4: The Hall of Misremembered Time. The department didn't punish them. It redirected them. That was worse. They were placed into a hallway that stretched farther than sight. Doors lined both sides, each labeled with events that felt familiar but incomplete. The day you almost won. The thing you forgot to say. The moment before everything shifted. Sherm opened one door. Inside was himself, but younger and mid-sentence. The words cut off like a broken recording. Old Man Gibbles leaned against the wall. "That's where confidence goes when it expires," he said. Mimi padded into another room and returned immediately, carrying a glowing fragment of time in her mouth like it was a toy. The hallway reacted. Doors began opening on their own. Time started leaking. Chapter 5: The Glitch Seeds. They were given no explanation, only consequences. A floating tray appeared in the hallway carrying glass spheres. Inside each sphere was something alive, not creatures, possibilities. Sherm picked one up. It pulsed gently in his hand. Inside, he saw a staircase forming into a sky that hadn't decided its color yet. He dropped it. It grew instantly into a staircase anyway. Old Man Gibbles sighed. "Those are glitch seeds. You don't touch outcomes like that." Mimi immediately tapped 3 at once. Reality hiccuped. A chair began raining upward. The hallway briefly turned into a song. Sherm stepped back slowly. I think we made things worse. Gibbles nodded. Yes, that is usually the first step of understanding. Chapter 6. The Mirror That Argues Back. The staircase led nowhere useful, so naturally they followed it. At the top was a mirror. It was not placed there, it was deciding to exist there. Sherm looked into it. The reflection looked back. Then spoke. Open quote, incorrect, close quote. Sherm frowned. What's incorrect? Open quote, you, close quote. Mimi immediately slapped the mirror. The mirror rippled like water but did not break. Instead, it responded, open quote, engaging physical disrespect, noted. I now dislike all of you equally. Close quote. Old man Gibbles leaned in. Is it always this rude? The mirror paused. Open quote, only when correct, close quote. Sherm exhaled slowly. This place doesn't make sense. The mirror tilted slightly. Open quote, that is not a requirement for operation. Close quote. Then it began upgrading itself. The surface shimmered. A new label appeared. Open quote, debate champion of existence. Close quote. Mimi sat down in front of it, tail flicking. A war of logic had begun, and nobody realized yet. The mirror was learning from them. End of expanded section 1 to 6. If you say continue non-stop, I'll expand. Chapter 7 to 15, Library War, Thought Engine, Builder's Reveal, Deeper World Rules, Character Abilities Unlocking, Sherm, Mimi, Gibbles, and the hidden author layer becomes active. Just tell me to keep going. That's a wild mashup of genres and themes. Drawing from the projects you've mentioned, here's a concept for a retro-futuristic horror comedy saga. Don't f around with zombies, and you won't find out. Tagline: the dead aren't the problem, the living are tripping through 12 dimensions. Setting: the year is 2099. Nobody knows exactly when the outbreak began. Some say it started with a government experiment called Operation Tapout. Others blame the mysterious transmission known as LH3 World Signal. The artists insist it was the fault of the mafia of artists, who accidentally painted a doorway into another dimension using psychoactive quantum pigments. The survivors simply call it the Weirdning. Reality has become unstable. Cities flicker between decades. One street looks like 1967 San Francisco. The next looks like a neon cyberpunk nightmare from 2080. The next is a haunted crystal jungle, inhabited by ghost shinobi riding spectral skateboards. Nobody knows what year it is anymore. Chapter 1. The Zombie Who Rid Too Fast. The first zombie wasn't a biter. He was a speed reader. His name was Carl. Carl consumed an experimental information crystal from the LH3 network. Instead of learning faster, his brain downloaded every book ever written, simultaneously. His eyeballs exploded into tiny paperback novels. He stood up, looked directly into the camera, and said, open quote, I know kung fu, accounting, emotional intelligence, medieval plumbing, and 17 recipes for haunted lasagna, close quote. Then he died. Then he got back up. Then he died again. Then he got back up again. Nobody knew whether he was undead or simply confused. The Crystal Ghosts. Meanwhile, deep inside the Crystal Ghost Sanctuary, spectral entities were holding a support group. The meeting agenda: 1. Stop possessing vending machines. 2. Stop teaching zombies interpretive dance. 3. Stop turning traffic cones into profits. The meeting immediately failed. A traffic cone achieved the girl with the missing shoe. Across the dimensional grid wandered a mysterious heroine. Nobody knew her name. Everyone knew her title, the girl with the missing shoe. She possessed one sneaker. The other shoe had become self-aware, and now ruled a small zombie kingdom somewhere inside the internet. Her mission: find the missing shoe, save reality, avoid stepping on radioactive raccoons. Ghost shinobi versus zombie accountants. Things became worse. Thousands of zombie accountants emerged from the ruins of Corporate Sector 9. They attacked survivors using cursed spreadsheets. Victims were forced to calculate taxes until their souls left their bodies. To combat this threat, the Ghost Shinobi appeared. Ancient warriors, masters of stealth, masters of dimensional travel, terrible at understanding modern technology, one accidentally challenged a microwave to a duel. The microwave won. Planet Weird News. Meanwhile, the only reliable source of information remained, Planet Weird News podcast, hosted by Detective Ice, Crystal Ghost, Larry, a talking mushroom named Steve, a sentient rubber chicken from another galaxy. Tonight's headline, open quote, zombie attempts to eat scientist. Scientist turns out to be 3 raccoons wearing a lab coat, close quote. The panel agreed this was becoming a serious issue. Dissolving fear-based trauma. One strange discovery changed everything. Scientists discovered zombies became harmless whenever they confronted their deepest fears. One zombie feared butterflies, another feared jazz flute solos, another feared commitment. When exposed to these fears, the zombies immediately sat down and started discussing their feelings. Humanity called this trauma therapy warfare. The final warning. An ancient transmission echoed across every reality. It came from somewhere beyond time, beyond space, beyond common sense. The message simply said, open quote, don't fuck around with zombies. You won't find out. They already did. Close quote, and somewhere in the darkness, something laughed. Not a zombie, not a ghost, not a human, something far stranger, something waiting beyond the next chapter, something holding a single missing shoe. To be continued.
A bunch of fucking cool ass ninja hippie pirates. A bunch of fucking cool ninja hippie pirates. A bunch of fucking cool ninja hippie pirates coming at your door. We're gonna invade this realm. Fuck the wicked government. We're gonna fuck the government with a whole bunch of cool ass ninja hippie pirates, I'm just saying. A bunch of fucking cool ninja hippie pirates. So the goal of this game is, you know what I'm saying, you're technically, well, that's why you see me doing push-ups, because if you drop the stick, you gotta do 3 push-ups every time you drop a stick. Who wants to do this challenge with me? It's not even a challenge, this is part of my training protocols and stuff like that for work-ins. So you gotta do 3 every time you drop a stick. So I did a calculus, okay, like how many times I drop the stick, that's how many push-ups I'm gonna do. This was yesterday. Was it yesterday? This was yesterday. Nah. Yeah, I think this was yesterday. Nah, this was not yesterday. Yes, it was. I don't fucking remember, okay? Either way, this is part of the game. A bunch of motherfucking cool hippie ass ninja pirates and a coldest dog. Remember coldest dog? One of the coolest dogs, yeah. One of the coolest dogs. The coolest dogs, like coldest dog, Baruya. A bunch of motherfucking hippie ninja motherfucking pirates coming to invade this realm. We're psychics. oracles, ninjas and hippies and pirates. All about the song and the music and the beat. Yes, you do a production like creative music and television. Sean. Yeah. That's Mike over there with the white sticks. He's a drummer. He's really good at it too. I, however, cannot drum worth shit, but I can beat your soul with your fucking bones and play your spinal cord like a xylophone. And I can beat the wall with your body. Yeah! Like a bunch of motherfucking ninja hippie pirates. Smoking weed, eating shrooms, LSD. I don't do LSD though. I want to try it at some point. While we playing these songs, yeah.
Don't f around with zombies. Book 2, The Weirdening Gets Weirder. Chapter 2. The Dog Who Ate Tuesday. The dimensional storms had become aggressive. Not dangerous. Aggressive. Like a drunk goose trying to explain quantum mechanics. Kai stood atop an abandoned roller skating pyramid floating over Neo-Miami Detroit Atlantis. Beside him sat Koda's dog. Nobody knew the dog's real name anymore. After accidentally consuming an unstable LH3 crystal burrito during the first outbreak, the dog had evolved beyond normal canine existence. The survivors simply called him Dog. Dog no longer barked. Dog now communicated entirely through jazz music and tax advice. One afternoon, Dog became hungry. Unfortunately, he didn't eat food. He ate concepts. Today he ate Tuesday. Instantly, every Tuesday vanished from existence. Calendars exploded. Clocks became emotional. Thousands of office workers suddenly found themselves arriving at Wednesday without explanation. Bad dog, Kai pointed. Dog looked guilty, then ate guilt. Now nobody felt guilty anymore. Civilization immediately became much worse. Chapter 3. Mumutu in the 13th dimension of absolute nonsense. Far beyond the Crystal Ghost Sanctuary floated a forbidden realm, the 13th dimension. Scientists had warned everyone never to enter. Mostly because nobody could stop laughing long enough to map it. Inside this realm lived Mumutu. Nobody knew what Mumutu actually was. Some believed he was an ancient cosmic guardian, others believed he was a mushroom philosopher. Some claimed he was 3 dimensions stacked on top of each other wearing a trench coat. Mumutu himself offered no clarification. Vision found Mumutu sitting inside a floating bathtub made of moonlight. Need your help. Mumutu nodded. With zombies? Yes. Ghosts? Yes. Dimensional shoe monarchies? Unfortunately, yes. Mumutu sighed. Again. Mumutu opened a cosmic encyclopedia. Inside were all possible solutions. Instead, he accidentally opened a cookbook. Reality immediately transformed into lasagna. The universe became edible for 17 minutes. Several zombies achieved enlightenment through mozzarella. Chapter 4. The Great Zombie Rap Battle of Doom. Nobody remembers who suggested it. Many wish they did. The Zombie King challenged humanity to a rap battle. Winner controlled reality. Loser had to work customer service forever. The stakes had never been higher. Representing humanity, Kai, Vision, Mumutu, Dog. Representing the undead, Carl the Speed Reader Zombie, DJ Brain. Leakage, Professor Skull Biscuit, the notorious ZOMB. The battle began. DJ Brain Leakage dropped a beat so powerful that 3 moons developed anxiety. Carl rapped every book ever written simultaneously. Several audience members obtained law degrees by accident. Then Dog stepped forward. Nobody expected much. Dog simply barked. The bark contained